Hello students and welcome to today's English lesson. In this video, we shall discuss the outline of the novel The Sign of Four by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Now, when you see the novel, you will realize that the novel begins with Dr. Holmes, that is Sherlock Holmes, and Dr. Watson engaged in a discussion when Mary Morstan, a young woman who desires Holmes' advice, soon visits the two at their place. So we see that during this time in this novel, okay, people who would find themselves into such kind of trouble where there was some problem, okay, in solving their cases, they would visit Sherlock Holmes, and they would tell them the entire scenario. Similarly, Mary Morstan also, who was in trouble, who had a kind of mystery behind her missing father, comes to Sherlock Holmes and tells them what has happened. So she tells them that her father disappeared under mysterious circumstances. Like suddenly, some 10 years ago, her father just disappeared, and from that time, she has been receiving a large pearl in the mail on the same day every year. So every year, probably on a particular day, maybe on January 15th. Every year, so January 15, 2020, January 15, 2021, 22. So every year on that particular same day, she would receive a large pearl in the mail. Now she tells them that she has received also a letter, okay, which instructs her to go with maybe two of her friends to a place called Elysium Theater, okay. And she tells the letter also tells that you should come here because there is some kind of injustice which is done to her. And so Mary comes to Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson because she wants them both to accompany her to this Elysium Theater with her, okay, so that they also can help in solving the case about her father, like what exactly happened with her father. So soon they all three go to the Lyceum Theatre. Now, when on their way to Lyceum Theatre, a carriage or a dark carriage comes that side, and the person in the carriage asks them to just sit in the carriage, and he takes them to a strange house. Now, when they go in this strange house, they find an eccentric gentleman. What is the meaning of eccentric? Like, slightly strange. Usually, we meet so many people, but some people are little strange. So, this person also was a little strange gentleman whose name was Thaddeus Sholto. Okay, so he tells Mary that her father died, and also that she is partial heir. That is, she is also going to get some kind of hidden treasure. Okay, she is also a member who was also liable to get this treasure. So her father had died, and probably there was some treasure that was that belonged to her father, and so she also had a part in the hidden treasure. So then he goes on to tell further that Thaddeus Sholto's father, okay, Major Sholto, he always had fear of men who had wooden legs. Okay, so on occasion, whenever he would see different people, maybe strangers, they are totally strangers who were handicapped in that manner. That is, their one foot was wooden. Okay, one leg was wooden. So the Major Sholto would get so scared about these people. So always he had this fear of men who had a wooden leg. Okay. So on one fine day when he was, maybe sick, he was ill. The elder Sholto, that is Major Sholto, revealed to his sons. He had two sons. Okay. So this Thaddeus Sholto was one of the sons. So the Major Sholto tells his sons that there is this treasure. But just before he could tell them where the treasure was, suddenly, while he was lying on the deathbed, at his window, he saw an old man's face, okay, an old bearded man's face, okay, and he got so scared looking at that face that he suffered a fatal heart attack. So, both his sons could not understand exactly where the treasure that their father was talking about was kept. The next morning, a note was found affixed to the body, and this note said, "Sign of four." Okay, so as you can see in the picture, this kind of note was found on the body of Major Sholto. And that time, Thaddeus, okay, that is this one of his son, he tells that after searching for years about the treasure that their father was talking about, his other brother, that is Bartholomew Sholto, discovered it in a hidden attack in the family house. So they had a family house. In this family house, in one room, there was this one big suitcase kind of a thing, and in that they discovered this treasure that their father was talking about. So on his deathbed, the brothers, both the brothers, okay, Thaddeus Sholto and Bartholomew Sholto, they both, their father made them swear that they would share the treasure with Mary Mostyn. So he tells them that, there is this one lady, okay, who also has a share in this treasure. So when you all find this treasure, when you all get this treasure, you should share the treasure with her as well. Okay. So she also has an unknown claim in the fortune of this treasure. So Thaddeus concludes by entreating the three to accompany him to the family estate where they will divide up the fortune. So he tells, that all three of you come with me to that family house, and there we will divide the wealth, the treasure, okay, between Mary Mostyn and Thaddeus and Bartholomew Sholto. So when they arrive at the family estate, the three find a shaken housekeeper. There's a housekeeper, the lady who takes care of the house, a caretaker kind of a thing in the house. So she comes to the door, she opens the door, and she's so scared, and she suddenly, happens to tell them that Bartholomew has not emerged from his locked room all day. So we see that Thaddeus Sholto was staying in another house, and Bartholomew Sholto was staying here in their family house. Okay, so when they come to this family house to take the treasure and to distribute it, they find from the housekeeper that Bartholomew Sholto has not come out of his day all out of his room all day, which means something was wrong in his room, something was probably wrong with him. So Holmes and Watson, they quickly go there in the room where he was locked. Okay, he was locked there. They go there to the room and they try to peer through the keyhole. He tries to look through the keyhole of the room, and in just front of his eye through the keyhole, he finds an unnatural grinning face leering at him. So can you see in the picture, like, some strange kind of face which is made by Bartholomew, and he sees this kind of face right in front of him through the hole. So he understands that something is wrong. They try to knock the door, they try to bang and open it, but nothing, no response comes from inside. So they break the door and they find the body of Bartholomew, a poison thorn lodged in his neck. So as you can see in the picture, so this kind of a poisonous thorn, okay, this thorn belongs to your tree and this thorn is poisonous. So this poisonous thorn is found on his neck, which means someone had killed him with this thorn. So after investigating for some time, so they start investigating the room to find some kind of clues or some way where they could understand who was here and who had killed Bartholomew. So after looking at the room and investigating it, Holmes finally concludes that there were two people who came in the room, okay, and one of them had a wooden leg. Okay, so with the marks, as you can see in the picture, see, so your picture you can see is as if somebody stepping with a wooden leg, okay, and the other there is a footstep, and here there's a strange looking footsteps. So he concludes that there were two people, and one of them had a wooden leg who had committed this crime. So then Holmes, the second person, was an especially interesting individual, he tells, and it also comes apparent that the murderers have stolen the Agra treasure. So the treasure that they came there looking for in order to distribute that among the three members, this treasure was then missing from that place, and also Bartholomew was killed. So one of Holmes' deductions revealed that the wooden-legged man stepped in creosote during his escape. So creosote is kind of a dark liquid which is made from coal tar. Okay, so there was this coal tar which was present there, and he happened to step into it. So following up on this lead, so he gets this smell of this creosote, and they borrow a dog. Okay, I told you there was a dog. Okay, Toby, named Toby, who is also a character in this novel. So they borrow a dog named Toby, and they give him this smell of this creosote, and with the help of the scent of the smell, okay, of this creosote, the dog starts running behind the trace of the smell, and they then finally try to catch this person. Okay, so when their search leads them to the edge of the Thames, so the dog, while following the trail, he comes near the edge of river Thames, and there it is clear that the two criminals probably had hired a boat and they ran away in the boat. So over the next few days, Holmes, what he does is he recruits Baker Street irregulars. You know, there are these boys, kind of urchins, these street side boys, okay, who kind of move around in that areas. Now he recruited all of them and he told them little bit about this person, the wooden leg person, and a strange person, and they told them to search the river for the boat, okay, which probably these people had taken. So when these efforts, now they also start searching and finding if such kind of boat had left this place and from where this boat was taken and all that, the efforts that they make fail. So Holmes, in disguise, okay, he disguises himself, he makes a search himself, and he finally discovers the boat. The name of the boat, that is Aurora, the Aurora. It was camouflage. Camouflage means they had changed the way the boat looked, so that if in case somebody describes the original way the boat looked, then they would not understand which boat they were talking about, because the boat had they had changed the look of the boat, they had changed the way the boat actually looked. So they find out finally that these people, that is the wooden leg man and the other person, had ran away from river Thames in the boat called the Aurora. So they also start following this boat, okay, in the river. And that night, Holmes, Watson, and several other officers, they pursue the Aurora in a police bar. So they hire other polices also. They make the other polices aware about this kind of search, about the search of a man with a wooden leg and another person and the boat Aurora, and finally they get this boat, okay, and they gradually overtake the boat which contains this wooden legged man, the captain, and a small pygmy native from Andaman Island. So as you can see here in the picture, okay, so the wooden legged man is here, then there is this captain, and there is this small person, a native pygmy. You know, there are these native people of Andaman Islands. So like that, this person was there. Okay, so his name was Tonga. Okay, his name is Tonga here, and he is along with this person who had killed Bartholomew Sholto. So the native attempts to shoot. So what they do is they, while they were the Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, while they were following them, okay, these two criminals, what he does is the native, he shoots with a blowpipe, okay, the same poisonous thorns, and he tries to shoot it on Sherlock Holmes. But somehow Sherlock Holmes manages to escape from it and is consequently shot down. This person, the native, that is Tonga, is shot down by Holmes and Watson. They have guns. So when he tries to shoot this poisonous thorn on Watson and Holmes, Holmes and Watson both shoot with the gun and kill him. So the Aurora runs aground and the wooden legged man becomes entrapped in the mud. Subsequently, he is captured. So we see that when he was killed, then this person, okay, the wooden legged man, throws Tonga in the river itself and moves ahead. But when the boat comes ahead, there is this all, muddy, mushy area where the boat gets stuck, and this person who has this wooden leg is not able to escape and is finally captured by James, this thing, Sherlock Holmes and Mary, John Watson, okay, Dr. Watson. Then they catch him and they bring him to the house, okay, and the wooden leg man, his name is Jonathan Small. What is his name? Jonathan Small. So they bring Jonathan Small back to Baker Street, okay, and he has this iron box which he had claimed, to steal from Bartholomew Sholto. He has this box, and when they open, okay, they find this box on the boat, and they tell Captain Small to open the box and tell exactly the story of this Agra treasure, like what this other story about this treasure is, like whom does it belong and how has it come here, and why he killed Bartholomew Sholto. So all that they tell him to tell the story. So he began when he was stationed as a fortress gatekeeper in India. So he tells that this entire story began when I was a gatekeeper of a fort, okay, in India. So we know that time, Britishers had forts in India. Then we had Mughals and all those Marathas, and also during this time, he was working. Jonathan Small was working as a gatekeeper in one of the forts. Okay, so he explains that he was approached by three Arab guards and offered a share in a great fortune if he would help them murder the man who carried it. So they tell him, these Arab guards, that there was this person who was carrying a treasure, and if Small helped them to kill this person, then they would also give him a share. So Small, of course, agreed because he would also get the share of treasure and he would become rich. So he agreed to the deal. Now, when the man, he was an emissary from a wealthy sheikh, okay, when he arrived, the three Arabs murdered the man as Small blocked his escape, and the four conspirators, that is the three Arabs and Jonathan Small, hid the treasure. But soon after, they were arrested for the murder of the emissary. But soon they came to know about this murder, so they were arrested. Then, when they were arrested, they were sent to a particular jail. So, Small was sent to a penal colony on the Andaman Islands, where he managed to get in friendship with Tonga, this native Andaman person I was telling you about, who was killed by Dr. Watson and Holmes. So this native got befriended, okay, was became friendly with Jonathan Small, so who became his loyal companion. And so Small bribed two of the guards of the island, okay, where he was kept as a prisoner. He even bribed those two guards. Now, who were those two guards? Major Sholto, that is Thaddeus Sholto and Bartholomew Sholto's father, and Morstan. Who was Morstan? Mary's father. Okay, Mary Morstan's father. So these two guards, they were bribed by Jonathan Small. So he told them that, if you help me to escape from this prison, then I have this treasure which I will give both of you. So they agreed. Okay, so the two agreed, and Sholto left to bring back the treasure. So he told, Major Sholto told that I'll also come with you and we'll bring the treasure together. So after some time, it became apparent to Small that Sholto had betrayed him. Now Sholto became greedy, and what he did is he betrayed Small, who originally knew where the treasure was, and he escaped from island with Tonga. So Small and Tonga, both of them had escaped from that island. And after many years, Small had traced down Sholto and arrived just in time to see him die. Okay, so after the death, that is, I told you when Sholto was lying on the deathbed, he saw this old person's face with the beard. So it was none other than Jonathan Small. So after Sholto died, okay, after the death, Small affixed the note that was found. So that note which was found on his body was put there by Jonathan Small, okay, as a reference to himself and his three Arab companions to whom originally the treasure belonged. So when he returned to Sholto estate, Tonga murdered Bartholomew and the two stole the treasure because Sholto had betrayed Small, okay, and he had taken the treasure for himself. So Small had come there to take this treasure which actually belonged to him. And then Small concludes his narrative by revealing that in the course of the chase, like he tells them that, and then when they open the treasure box, they find it to be empty. Why? Because when they were, running in that, when they were when Holmes and Watson were following Small in the river Thames, okay, and when Tonga was killed in that chase, what Jonathan Small had done, he had opened the treasure box and he had thrown all the treasure in the river. Okay, so Small then finally was taken to prison, and Watson, who had come to love Mary Morstan, proposes her. Certainly, Mary Morstan was not really interested in the treasure. She was interested in knowing what exactly happened to her father. So here, because now nobody is going to, get the treasure really. Bartholomew also was killed. Thaddeus already had a lot of money. Mary Morstan also was well enough, and Small had to finally go to jail. So he thought that it is best to throw away all this treasure in the river. So in that way, the story ends by the treasure not being distributed to anyone, But Mary Mostyn getting an answer of what exactly happened to her father years ago, and Small going again to jail because of all that he had done. Okay, so I hope you have understood the story of the mysterious novel, the detective novel, The Sign of Four. Please read through the outline of the novel in detail. Also, go through the plot of the novel and understand the synopsis of the extract which is given to you in your textbook. Okay, so thank you and have a nice day.